a video vlog?
Yeah.
Just recording his answers.
Yeah, we just started the videos today.
Yeah, whatever.
Just started adding videos today?
We did, yeah. Because we had exposure to like pretty much every car. We could do comparisons.
Yeah. All right, so where are we going, fellas? What do we want to know?
Well, which car are you most looking forward to in the upcoming year?
Yeah. Wow.
It's the hardest question Kevin's gotten all show.
It has. It's not one car. I think I'm looking more at the small SUVs and what that niche is doing. It is the most prolific. It's the most prolific niche right now in the marketplace. It's white hot.
The subcompact SUV?
It's subcompact SUVs, car based.
Yep.
And what makes it really cool is, I think your camera's pointing that way.
No, it's a
Oh, it's wide. See,
Yeah.
it shows you what I know. All right, so let me start over. I said it's not one car that I'm specifically looking at, but a niche I'm seeing is this small SUV, car-based SUV, and how hot that is in the marketplace. And why I say that is on the show floor we have so many new models that are not even at the dealership yet. You know, whether that is the Jeep Renegade or the Fiat 500X or the MKX from Lincoln or the brand new Honda HR-V. Those are vehicles that aren't even at the dealership yet, and the broad base of the portfolio of the manufacturers trying to hit that niche, and how that transforms this upcoming year will be very interesting.
Yeah, we checked out the Chevy Trax.
Chevy Trax is another entry. So you can see just by what we just talked about, those are all new entries into that marketplace. Amongst all the ones that are already established in the marketplace. So, and Philadelphia loves their small SUVs. It has grown at twice the pace for those small SUVs than the rest of the country, which is very, very rare. So Philadelphia market loves that niche, and you're seeing all these entrants from the manufacturers in those niches. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Okay.
How did you sort of start working with the auto show?
You know, when you grow up and you think you're going to be something, and then you become something else as you get older, and you figure out what really you like and not like. And so out of college, I started working for the dealer organization in Montana, actually, and then on to Wyoming, and then I got the job in Philadelphia. And in the job in Philadelphia, the big thing is the auto show. So I quickly learned about auto shows and got a great staff around us to make sure that we produce one of the best shows in the country.
Let me get another one.
Can I add a little bit to this?
Oh, yeah.
I think, you know, as guys and men that really like the auto industry, you know, the auto show is a special time. I mean, there's television and there's print and there's outdoor and there's radio. And certainly the internet or digital, all important in the industry as far as the selling of those vehicles. But there's nothing like an auto show, those 9 days, because it does something that those other mediums can't do. It's where people can actually experience these cars. The family can come in and see how those kids fit in that SUV or that minivan. They can see how that steering wheel feels and they sit in that new Mustang. And they can't do that in any other way. And they do it all under one roof, and no matter what they're looking at, no matter what segment they're looking at buying. And that's what makes the show, or these 9 days, so special. And that's why we get 250,000 people here, is because people can do that in a way that there's no selling on the floor, so it's relaxed. And they can take as much time as they want to kind of kick the tires and smell the leather, and you can do none of those in those other mediums. And I think that's what makes it so special for the consumer. This show will influence about $2.5 billion in sales over the next 12 months. So that's why it's important to the manufacturer, to the dealers, but most importantly, you know, to the consumers out there and the people that attend the show.
How many years have you been working in the auto show?
I've been working the auto show 18 years.
Oh, wow.
So it's really grown a lot. It's 700,000 square feet, about 40 manufacturers, 9 days, one roof. So it's something very special, and we're very passionate and prideful for the show. We're more custodians of the show. The show has been around for 114 years. That's a mighty long time,
Yeah.
and it'll be long after we're gone. And so we're doing the best we can to continue that tradition and continue to make the show part of the community, and it's part of the fabric of Philadelphia.
Next question. Sorry, my phone keeps going off.
It's all right.
Have you worked with any other companies that have to do with auto shows or cars like before this?
No, I mean, I worked with dealers before this, but not an auto show. But yet we work with from Ford to Kia to Maserati to Toyota. So we're working with those manufacturers all the time. So after this show, I'll take a big breather, and then starting in about April, we'll start going out to Detroit to see the manufacturers. We'll go out to Los Angeles, where many manufacturers are, and other places of the country to see how the show went, what went well, maybe what didn't go as well as we had hoped, and then what are the plans for 2016. So we're planning this show for 10 months, basically, and then we have 9 days to throw the party. So we hope it doesn't snow. We hope that the weather's pretty good, because it is what it is for those 9 days. But you kind of can keep score of how we did, because you can tell by how many people come how well you did.
Which dealer did you
No, I don't work for any dealer. I work for the dealers. So
Okay.
it's a trade association, which is there's many types of trade associations, but all the new car and truck dealers in the area, they have an organization that produces the show. So I work for a board of directors comprised of dealers, and our company and our staff works for to do the show. And we have also a charitable foundation that also leverages the revenue that we receive at the show, and then we give back to the community.
How do you get the cars? Do you get them from dealerships or automakers?
Great question. The normal cars, so to speak, the ones that are being sold in high volume, many of those, depending upon the manufacturer, come from the manufacturer and then out to the dealer locally. And that's how from the show they go there. Sometimes they are shipped to the dealer and then they come to the show. But either way, ultimately the dealer ends up with them. But the special vehicles, the pre-production vehicles, some of the vehicles we already discussed on the small SUV side, those are special vehicles, and they go from show to show.
Okay.
So you have a lot of examples of this. You have the Nissan Titan pickup. It's a brand new entry, just came out of Detroit. It was a world debut, so to speak, in Detroit. Just came here, and that'll go on probably to Chicago. There's a kind of a pathway that a lot of these cars go: Detroit, Philly, Chicago. Another one is in Buick. Buick has the Cascada convertible, which is pre-production. That came straight from Detroit, will come to us, and then on to Chicago. Another is a concept vehicle, Avenir, which is a beautiful. It's great to see a young person say Buick looks pretty darn good. That'll help their demo. Which is really, really cool. So those types of vehicles, the Jeep Renegade, those types of vehicles, those go from show to show.
Okay. Oh, what kind of car do you drive?
What kind of car do I drive? I drive a Yukon Denali. I have a couple of kids, and that's what's the beauty of the show is there's such a wide variety of vehicles to meet people's needs that I'm not going to have a Nissan Leaf.
Yeah.
You guys know cars. That's not going to help me with 2 kids in sports, or if I want to go to the shore, what, I going to get 4 Leafs? I mean, no, that's not going to happen. I need something big that I can carry my whole family. And so the needs are different for different people and different families. And that's the beauty of the show, is in the sense of that everything is here. And that business aspect is very important. But it's the fun part too. I mean, I'm digging the Lamborghini Huracan down there. My favorite car is a Aston Martin Rapide S, kind of champagne colored 4-door. It's gorgeous, out of my price range, but I still like it. But that's what I mean. There's cars here to dream about, as well as pragmatically looking at a next vehicle to purchase.
When do you start sort of collecting the cars for the auto show?
Well, they come in, the way the setup goes is they first mark the floor. So they mark the floor and say, okay, Ford will be here, Chevy will be here, Toyota will be here. And then once they mark the floor, they got to lay the electric, because they have carpet to put in. But they got to lay the electric first. So then the electric goes in, then the carpeting comes in, And then they bring all the freight, the boxes. About 2 million pounds of freight comes in to set the show up. So they bring the freight in, they dismantle the freight, they set up all the displays, and then Wednesday afternoon, this vehicle move-in starts. And it's very cold on the floor because all the doors are open. I know Jess had mentioned many times how cold she was. And that's move-in, and Thursday is totally vehicle move-in day. And it's not easy to move in 700 vehicles, and they've got to be placed in a certain floor plan. I mean, there's specific areas and how they want their vehicles to be displayed in their particular area. They got to be set up where the electric is, because a lot of times they have to disconnect the battery because by the fire marshal, but they can connect it and plug the car in. And so certain cars have got to be in certain areas so people can actually see how the dashboard looks like when it's running and that type of thing. So Wednesday afternoon and Thursday is vehicle move-in day, and on Vine Street out here, it is car carrier all the way from 12th Street to Broad Street. And it's just car carrier, car carrier, car carrier. We also have what's called a marshalling yard, so that if we're backed up, we can unload the cars at one place, unload them, and then we have men that go down then and drive them over here if we get backed up, because you can't go too far. You'll back up traffic. So it's quite the extravaganza. About 30,000 man hours, woman hours, man hours, are utilized to put the show together, as far as on the floor and lay all that carpeting. There is 3 acres of vehicular awesomeness out there. 3 acres out there on the show. It's about 10 football fields, and it's just something. And as car guys, you know what I'm talking about.
And usually, how long does that take from the laying out all the part?
We start moving in, marking the floor, like I mentioned, Saturday, Sunday, and we have to be spit shine and ready to go by Friday afternoon. So 6 days, somewhere in there. Only takes 2 days to move out, though. It's a lot quicker breaking down than there is setting up. So it's a little quicker on the out.
And this is our last question.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy most about being part of the auto show every year?
2 things. One is it's rewarding when you're putting on an event that is so important to the industry. And when you influence those kind of sales numbers at 2.5, you know how important it is to the industry for us to have a good show. And so that's very rewarding when you do. But in another way, what I really like, I like on a Saturday morning when the show opens up, and gentlemen about your age or maybe probably a little younger come walking in on a Saturday morning, and I usually station myself over by the Exotics and by Ferrari and watch some of those kids seeing a Ferrari for the first time, red, and they're like, oh, I mean, it's just like angelic horns from above. And they've seen it on the internet, they may have seen it in a magazine, maybe even on TV, but they've never seen one in person. And to see that astonishment of what a car like that looks like in person is a cool thing to see. So I'm kind of weird, but that's kind of like my cool thing at the show to see happen. Cool?
Yep.
Are we all good? All right, well, go, gentlemen. I'll be looking at your. I'll be looking at your site.
Thank
That's
you.
very impressive.